All right, let's dive into something that, on the surface, seems to completely break a basic rule of running. We're looking at a real world case study of a runner who made a few small tweaks to their form, and you're not going to believe this, got way faster by actually moving their legs slower. How on earth is that possible? Let's break it down. And yeah, that's the central puzzle right there. You've probably heard it a million times. A high cadence, turning your legs over faster and faster, that's the key to speed. But what if that's only half the story? What if the secret to your next personal best isn't about spinning your wheels faster, but about taking fewer steps every minute? It sounds completely backward, I know, but the data doesn't lie. So here's the setup. We're looking at two different interval workouts from the exact same runner. The first one is their old style, all about quick, choppy steps and really pushing off the toes. We're going to call that the spinner. The second workout uses a totally new style, with cues like popping the hip forward and running on an imaginary tightrope. We'll call this one the driver. So same person, same gear, just a different approach to moving. What happened? Okay, and here's our first big surprise. With this new driver style, the runner's cadence, their steps per minute, actually went down by 4 steps per minute. They were literally turning their legs over more slowly. Now, everything we think we know about running says that should make them slower, right? But, and this is a huge but, here's the trade-off. For every single step they took, they covered an extra 5 centimeters of ground. Now, 5 centimeters might not sound like much, but you have to think about it. Step after step after step, thousands and thousands of times over a run. That adds up to a massive gain. So this is the big showdown, isn't it? What matters more, the slightly slower turnover or the significantly longer stride? Which one do you think won out in the end? And boom, there's your answer. The driver style was a full 2 seconds per kilometer faster. That's a huge improvement. The data makes it crystal clear that extra stride length more than crushed the small drop in cadence. But you gotta look at that power number, an extra 22 watts. This wasn't just about being more efficient. This runner was generating way more force with every single step.
So the big question is, how? How did a couple of simple mental cues unlock so much extra speed and power? Let's get into the 2 key mechanical changes that really made all the difference here. This is the good stuff.
First off, the stance. The old spinner style had the feet landing a little wide, which causes your hips to sway side to side. You can picture it, right? It's a massive energy leak. All that power is just bleeding out sideways. But the driver style is all about landing your feet more under your center of mass, like you're on a tightrope. This aligns your entire body into a straight line. It's like aiming a cannon. All your energy is directed forward, creating a perfectly clear path for your hip to drive straight back with maximum power. Now, this second change is my favorite because it's so counterintuitive. The old way involved an active toe push, consciously firing your calf muscle to shove the ground away. It feels powerful, but it's actually like hitting the eject button too early. You cut your stride short. The new style? It's a passive toe roll-off. Instead of pushing, the runner just lets their momentum roll them over their big toe. They wait for the hip to do the real work and pull the leg through. It's all about staying on the ground for just a fraction of a second longer to create a much longer, more powerful lever. And this quote just sums it all up perfectly. This free speed, these 5 extra centimeters per step, didn't come from trying harder or pushing more. It came from better positioning. The tightrope stance aimed the cannon, and the passive toe roll gave the cannon enough time to fire at full force. It's geometry, not just grunt work. Okay, so a 2-second gain per kilometer is amazing in a short workout, but what happens when we scale this up to a full marathon? This is where the difference between these two styles becomes more than just speed. It's about survival. It's about actually finishing the race. Just look at these numbers. With that shorter, quicker stride, the spinner style takes about 32,000 steps to finish a marathon. But the longer, smoother driver style, only 30,800. That's 1,200 fewer times your body has to smash into the pavement. Over a full marathon, saving your legs from 1,200 impacts is absolutely colossal. And it's not just how many impacts, it's where you feel them. The spinner style with that aggressive toe push puts all the stress on small, delicate tissues, your calves, your Achilles. And get this was the exact thing that caused this runner's previous calf injury. The driver style, on the other hand, shifts that entire load up to your body's real engine, the glutes and hips. These are huge, durable muscles designed to take a beating. And this brings us to every marathoner's worst nightmare, the late race cramp. The spinner style is basically a cramp factory. It just torches the tiny fuel tanks in your calves. But the driver style, it's like an insurance policy against cramping. It uses the glutes, the biggest muscles you have, with the biggest fuel tanks, and it gives those weak links, like the calf, a break. It's about using your most fatigue-resistant engines to carry you all the way home. So what's the one big idea that pulls all this together? It's a total shift in how you think about creating speed. It's about moving away from just brute force muscle contractions and learning how to use your body's own natural springs. It's the difference between muscling through a run and running with tension. So tension running, what is it? It's all about using your body like a pogo stick or a rubber band. Think about all your tendons and your fascia, this web of connective tissue you have. The goal isn't to pull yourself forward with muscle like you're rowing a boat. The goal is to load the system, stretch those tissues like you're pulling back a bow and arrow, and then let it release for a powerful, basically free snap forward. And this explains our two styles perfectly, right? The spinner style is running in muscle. It's a grind. You're using that toe push to create force from zero on every single step. But the driver style, that's running in tension. It uses that passive roll to get a deep stretch in the hip, and then you get this whip-like snap as the tissue recoils. That's your free energy right there. And you know what? This also finally explains the magic of modern super shoes. So many people think these carbon-plated shoes are like little trampolines bouncing you off the ground. That is a total myth. They are not trampolines. They are stiff levers, and they are engineered for one specific purpose: to amplify the mechanics of tension running. Here's how it all works together with that driver style. First, you land on that tightrope, loading the system and squishing the foam. Second, as you just let your body weight roll forward, you effortlessly bend that stiff carbon plate. You're not forcing it, you're just rolling over it. And finally, as your hip pulls you through and your foot rolls off your toe, that plate snaps back to its original shape and whoosh, it releases a burst of energy that helps fling you forward. So I'll leave you with this question. The next time you're out on a run, just think about it for a second. Are you grinding it out, muscling the ground away with every step? Or are you a long, powerful pendulum, loading up your body's natural springs and using tension to fly forward? Because the answer could unlock a faster, safer, and way more fun stride than you ever thought was possible. Thanks for watching.